up YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. Good start. What is up YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. Today is going to be a little bit more of an educational piece for you guys. I want to talk on a few of the topics that have been a little bit hot on the fitness industry lately, especially around social media. One phrase that I'm sure all of you guys would know of and have heard of recently is the magic phrase, calories in versus calories out. So I really want to break this down for you guys and simplify this so that you really understand this. Although it is a simple formula and a calculation that does work, and one that I definitely do believe in, there are so many other factors that play a role into this calculation. It really isn't just as simple as what you eat versus what you burn off. So what is calories in versus calories out? What that means is each day we have a total amount of calories that we are consuming, and that means what we are eating, and the amount that we are burning off, and that means what we are burning off when we are training, and also what we are burning off when we're just living, standing, eating, talking right now. Now, the first part that I find really confusing for a lot of clients and people that are misunderstanding is, yes, calories in versus calories out is a great calculation and a formula that would work in the perfect world. We don't live in a perfect world, and there's so many other factors that come into play with these two numbers. It really doesn't come down to just what you're eating to what you're burning off. I have so many people coming to me time and time again saying that they are only eating 1,200 calories, they've dropped their calories down so low, they're doing cardio, they're training 6 days a week, and they're still not losing weight. So if calories in versus calories out really worked for every single individual, why are these people still holding on to weight? So let's break this down. The first thing I want you to ask is, do you know how much you're actually burning off in the first place? And do you know how much you're actually consuming in the first place? A lot of people will generally overestimate on how much they're burning and then underestimate on how much they're consuming. That is the first problem. There are two things that you can do to actually help give you a ballpark of what you are consuming and burning. And by consuming, you can track this in MyFitnessPal. Or number two, you can do by burning off, you can use a Fitbit. The only issue with a Fitbit is research has shown that it can be up to 40% wrong, either under or over on calories. So although yes, Fitbits are going to be great to give you a bit of a ballpark on what you are burning each day, you're not going to get the exact amount. And if you are going within the 300 calorie range, you're really not going to know if you are in a surplus or a deficit. One of the biggest factors that's going to play a role is going to be our damn genetics. This is something that we can't change, we are born with, and something that unfortunately is going to affect everything that we do in our life, and especially how our body looks and reacts to different things. It doesn't matter what anybody says, genetics definitely play a role in everything. You could see it from when we were back in kindergarten, you could see it then when we were in high school. Girls develop differently. Some had bigger hips, some had bigger boobs earlier. I had no boobs. Some people had big hips, I had no hips. Some people were up and down and athletic. Everyone was different, and we could see this from such an early age. So it's very frustrating for me to see people say it's just so as simple as calories in versus calories out. Because first of all, some people really were built with a more solid frame. They were bigger people, they were taller, and they were always going to carry more weight on them as opposed to someone more petite. It is also then going to play a role with how you metabolize things, how your body sits, where your body likes to sit at a weight, how curvy you are, how straight up and down you are, where you build your muscle, where you lose your fat first. It literally is going to play a role into everything. So whatever you're born with, always try and find the positives. If you are somebody with a heavier bottom set, then great, you can build some great glutes and legs. If you're a more petite frame, athletic, you can be super shredded and lean most of the year around. There is always a positive way to think about the way you've been built. Just got to make that the best that you can. Now, the second thing is a super, super important one and a very serious one, and one that is often overlooked. This is your history. So what have you been doing over the last couple of years that you think would affect you right now? I think a lot of people don't understand that what you did with your body over the last couple of years does play a role in how it acts and functions today. If you are someone who has dieted for a long period of time, if you're somebody who is yo-yo dieted, maybe you competed extremely a couple of years ago, you are most likely going to have some metabolic damage. You're also probably going to struggle to keep weight off. You're going to struggle to lose weight. You're going to struggle mentally with food. You're going to struggle with a whole bunch of things. Your body has been through a trauma, and it is trying to do what it thinks is the right thing to do by holding onto fat. If you've put yourself in a starvation mode over the last couple of years, whether it was only 6 months ago or 3 years ago, damage can still be done, and you may have not repaired that as efficiently as you think. So when you do start to diet again, your body fears for the worst and holds on to everything. For example, let me give you an example of my history, and I want to give you an example of why this calories in versus calories out does not always work, okay? For example, last year I competed 3 times. Well, in the last year I competed 3 times. I was in a deficit that whole time. Not once did I go up. Now, on my last show, I was at about 1,100 calories, and I do not recommend this, and I will not do this again. I kind of had no choice. The reason I was on such low calories is because I'd been dieting for so long that my body had learnt how to function on such low calories. I didn't need it anymore. The body is extremely smart, obviously. If we were out in the wilderness back before we had actually civilization and we were only able to eat once a week, our bodies would go into a survival mode. It would store everything that we could and make sure that we held on to all of that so we weren't burning it off as energy. So the same thing happens to us now. If we're dropping our calories down super low, our body's gonna make sure that we store them because it doesn't know when we're gonna be fed next, and it needs those calories to survive. Our bodies never ever thought that we needed to be aesthetically pleasing, so they are trying to do anything they can to just keep us alive and with as much energy as we can. So because I was dropping them down for so long, they were managing to store and store and store, and I was really struggling to lose weight. By the end of it, I was at about 1,100 calories. I was doing cardio every single day on top of weights. And you're telling me that calories in versus calories out works? Bull. Reason being is because there was no way I was burning less than 1,100 calories per day. I was burning almost 800 calories per just a training session alone. 800 to 900 calories because I was training twice a day. So obviously that would equate to me eating less than what I was consuming, yet I had plateaued. I was not losing any more weight, that's how it was. And that's why I needed to take my calories back up to let my body go to that, to then drop back down so that I could actually lose weight. This brings me to the third point, which is your metabolism. So metabolism does play a role in genetics. We're tying those two in together now as well. There are people that were born with a fast metabolism in comparison to somebody else. We could see this again back in preschool. We could see somebody was this little kid who was super hyperactive. He just had a high metabolism. He could eat whatever he wanted. And then you had another kid who was a little bit chubbier. That was just how things were. And that wasn't really that the kids were having massive differences in calories. As a kid, you don't really do that. You're all kind of eating the same thing. You're all playing as much as each other. But some definitely burn through food quicker than others. And the last one on metabolism is as you age, unfortunately, your metabolism does slow down. Now, the good thing with metabolism is you can train it to a certain degree. Yes, genetically, some people are gonna have it faster than others. Some people are gonna be able to speed it up more than others, but to a degree, yes, we can. If we can slow down our own metabolism, then that means we can also speed it up. So the next one and the fourth one is, I'm not sure a lot of people even know about it. I don't even know if you guys know this contributes to us each day, but it does, and it is your NEAT, your non-exercise activity thermogenesis, that one. So your NEAT really comes down to how much you fidget, how much somebody is kind of active when you're not actually being active, if that makes sense. So if you're somebody who always taps your foot, you're always dancing like myself, is obviously at the end of the day going to burn a whole lot more calories than the person who is quite sedentary, who doesn't really move, maybe more of an introvert, someone who is a little bit more shy, legitimately will actually burn less calories just because of their activity during the day. So when I'm driving, I'm literally dancing the whole time, as opposed to somebody who might just be sitting there. So on our drives, even though we're doing the exact same thing, I'm moving a little bit more than this person, and therefore I'm burning more calories. So that is another thing that we don't actually take into consideration. And although it's not a big deal, it's not a big amount, it's not like we're gonna be burning thousands more calories, at the end of the day, it does actually add up. Fortunately, you can't really change how fidgety you are. It's kind of more in your personality. What you can do is, if you are aware that you are somebody who is quite sedentary, you don't really like, going out and dancing, you sit around a lot, you're not a active person, and you're not kind of over the top with hand gestures like I am, then I would suggest maybe putting your steps up a little higher, your step count. That will actually make you more aware to move a little bit more during the day. Now, the very last one that plays into this calories in versus calories out thing is your fitness level. Now, obviously, beginners are not going to be burning as many calories as what an advanced gym goer would be during their own sessions. So when you are training, obviously someone who can push a little bit harder, who can train for a longer period of time, are going to be able to burn more calories. They have that ability. The person who's just beginning, obviously still trying to focus on getting the movement right, your fitness levels not at a level yet that you can actually go for a run for 5Ks. And that is totally fine. The only advice that I give to you guys is you have to make sure that you stick this out so you can get to that point. The fitter you are, the more calories you can burn, the more conditioning you can do, and overall the more you can actually get away with, the more food you can shove in your face, because it is so beautiful. It's such a nice afternoon. Anyway, my point is, guys, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not telling you how to diet. The best diet is the one that you can stick to, the one that you guys understand. I'm really just giving you points and factors that do play a role in all of these diets. I'm really sick of seeing on social media people trying to, even though it is simple, it's not. It's not simple for people that don't understand it. It's simple for people that know what they're doing, like myself, but for people that are beginning, they're just saying calories in versus calories out, and they're trying and it's still not working, then perhaps one of these points that I've discussed today is the reason for that. So maybe dig a little bit deeper, change your training method, change your diet, have a break from dieting, don't diet, go on a holiday, go do something, talk to your coach and get some real guidance on what you can do if you are stuck. But my first and foremost thing for you to do is to make sure that you are checking how many calories you are having in and how much you actually are having out. The first and foremost problem, and I see a lot, is a lot of people are actually, like I said at the beginning, underestimating how much they are taking in and then overestimating how much they are burning off. So if you can get that first, make sure you're really accurate and honest with yourself on that one. And if you are sure that you're in a deficit, then start looking at all of the other points like I discussed today. A wrap. Yeah, I haven't been on YouTube in a while. I hope you guys enjoyed that, and I hope you guys get something out of it. I really want to make more of these educational videos, so make sure you guys let me know if you liked it and click subscribe.